Hi guys, and welcome to Scratching Collective's STT, Spill the Tea. So today we're going to be talking about creating work in the face of the big coronavirus, and how we can kind of create work successfully and just create a little bit more of a platform because it's quite a difficult time at the moment. We've got 4 guests with us today. We've got the founders of Scratching Collective, Harris and Grace. We've got Kai, and we've also got Vic. So Kai is a creative producer. She's from Singapore, now based in London. She's recently just graduated from Royal Central School of Speaking Drama, where also Harris and Grace have also trained or are currently training. Kai has just done an MA in creative directing and producing, not directing. And she creates work that's urgent, committed, and contemporary to the minority of the people in Singapore. Vic is an associate artist with a transnational company, Vimy Collective, and she's part of various creative collectives and creates work that challenges stereotypes and shares hidden narratives. Then we have Grace and Harris, who are currently training at Royal Central. Harris is based in Singapore, and Grace is in London. Both artists, and Grace is also a writing student. So, welcome, guys. So it's quite a very, very relevant topic at the moment. I don't think anything's more relative at the moment. So, Vic, I'm going to come to you first. So it can be quite difficult to kind of motivate yourself and kind of be productive in these times. You have to give yourself a little bit of a boost to be productive and see light and positivity in everything that's around us. So what advice would you personally give to creatives and people who are wanting to embark on kind of like online projects, web series? What's your stand on it?
I feel like what I'm about to say might be controversial, because I come from the camp that is rejecting productivity during this period. When the lockdown happened in various countries and theaters went dark in Singapore and the circuit breaker happened, the last thing on my mind was producing or creating work. And I know as artists we have, a duty or a sort of desire to keep creating for people, for society, for audiences, to keep connecting the world. And we forget that we are going through this period of grief with everyone else. So my advice to artists now who are trying to be productive and not being very good at it or not succeeding the way they want to succeed at their productivity is to not be productive at all. Is to go back to yourself, listen to what your body needs, your mind needs, because we are the tools for the creation. If we're not taking care of ourselves and we're just so focused on work, then we're not artists. We're just products of a machine, and that's not what we wanted to be when we became artists. So if we keep connecting to who we are and what we need at that point in time, if we're in a good place and we're ready to churn out music video after music video, write a whole album, a whole screenplay, great. But if you need to rest, you need to recharge, if you need to grieve and just stay in bed for 15 hours, do it, because at some point your body has this inner creative motor that's going to say, you know what, I'm done resting or I'm done moping, I'm gonna start. And then you're ready. That's what I believe in.
Fab. Kai, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Vic said, but I also think that some people handle situations like grief differently, whether it's a death of a family member or a friend, or like grief because of this pandemic. Like for me personally, it's just so difficult for me to take a pause. I think because of the nature of my job, I always want to make things right or solve a problem or solve a conflict, So, and because I'm so used to that workaholic stance that I have, so now that because we have a pause, like I don't know how to appreciate it in the beginning. like I felt like useless, you know. I felt a bit like, oh, I feel useless because I feel like I can't do anything. But so for me, how I handle it is I try to think of work, like make work. And it's not like because I'm pressured to do, it's just because that's how I handle the situation. That's how I handle that grief or that void, you know. Like, okay, if I can't go out and meet people for a meeting, then I'm going to have a meeting with myself, for example, you know, just something to do just so that I don't have that void of like being useless or lonely and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it differs for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Grace and Harris, as current students, it's a little bit different to kind of the external world at the moment. How are you both kind of dealing with it in terms of still studying? I'll start with you, Harris.
Yeah, I think like, of course, like school becomes that priority. So as compared to like other people who aren't like necessarily in training, we have something that we have to continuously be doing. But I think in terms of like creating things outside of school, what Vic and Kai said, I think it really goes back to the artist, or it goes back to you. So even with Scratching, the idea was mainly to create a space for artists to continue developing or to continue creating. It wasn't necessarily creating work for others. It was more for ourselves. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kai.
Grace?
Yeah, well, actually, what's funny is that me and Harris have been in the same group this term, working on a creative project with Central. And it's been, that's felt, I don't know, I haven't really felt like a student in that. I felt like a creative, and I felt valued as a creative because I worked as a writer in that process, and Harris worked as a designer in that process. So yeah, kind of bouncing on what Harris is saying. I don't know if this is different though, if you were studying something else. In our case, we are studying something creative, and our project happened to be a devising project. But I really felt like Harris just said, I really felt like I could connect to myself and think about what I want to make, and what I want to, where I can grow, and what I've learned from it. It's been a really good time for self-reflection, I think, which you don't often get. So yeah, I would advise any students at this time to take a bit of time for themselves to think about what they've maybe learned in their year of uni, and where they'd like to go forward, and what has really particularly interested them.
Nice. That's really interesting. In terms of kind of like online work compared to kind of film or theatre, and what you're creating material-wise, or how you kind of vision what you're thinking to be placed on a screen, kind of Kai, how do you think you feel of going forward with that? Kind of what's the differentiation between online and film and the other kind of ways of communicating your work to the people?
Yeah, I think for me, it's how you negotiate the space that you're in. Like, for example, a show that I have been involved in, which is like either Zoom or YouTube, you know, or live. Of course, we try to get the essence of that live because you have audience, the energy from the audience, the reaction from the audience. And when you do stuff online, then it's just, you can't hear the clap or the sigh or the, you know, you can't sense anything from the audience. And I also feel that between like pre-recorded videos or film that you want to show live, I have not found a distinct difference, because when you watch things live online and say that, oh, okay, this is live and the actors are acting, and then after that you have like a pre-recorded film to show right after, if you never mention it, you won't know that, oh, this segment before this was live and then this was recorded, because it's like the same, you know. So I'm still trying to figure out what's that difference to make, you know, like you acting live right now and it's like captured on screen, and then after that you play like a pre-recorded video. So I think I'm still thinking about it. It's still something that, I don't know, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna boycott all this like theatre online and stuff like that, which it's very debatable. But I also feel that at this point of time, because this is what we are resort to, this is a new skill that I am trying to get from, you know, and then after, when COVID is done, hopefully, I don't know, and then we slowly get back to normal, then I don't want to waste this, online theatre, and just leave it as, that was during Corona, you know. I'm still trying to negotiate the space to see how I can bring that to life in theatre, if you get what I mean. So I think it's still a process. There's no right or wrong answer to this, and it's just like an opinion that I have right now. It's quite difficult to differentiate, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In terms of that, going to come to you, Vic. I feel a lot of people are feeling kind of a pressure to create online work because everybody else is. And I feel like I'd love to know because you kind of mentioned it before, of kind of looking after yourself and not kind of forcing something which you feel like you just need to be creative constantly. I do feel like some people will relate to this, because everyone around them is creating online web series and uploading to YouTube, and like there's some people who are currently writing plays maybe, and they won't see that form till quite a while, till kind of the virus passes. So what's your stand on that?
Well, the process of creating was never quick or easy, and you know, even without the virus going around, we still have our own demons to battle, our own creative obstacles to overcome. And with regards to creating things online, specifically online, I think it might be a good thing, because the world is getting more digitally enhanced, and we're all being connected through social media and everything. So in a way, people who are doing that, they're responding immediately to the distance, right? I'm going to create things online because I want to connect. And that's great because they are paying attention to the form. But I hope they pay attention to the substance and the meaning of what they're doing as well. So, you know, connecting to the form is great. Let's hope that whatever they put on this form connects to the people they want to reach out to. And even if it's not for people, but for themselves, their own self-expression, they're genuinely connecting with themselves. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Grace, in terms of that, obviously you're a writer. Can you talk about some of the stuff that you're kind of creating at the moment, and what your stance is, and what you kind of have a view on, kind of like pressure and the need to kind of create work?
Yeah. I completely agree. I think there is this pressure at the moment that you have to be making, and it's very damaging and problematic for people that, like Kai mentioned earlier, people that might need that break and that sort of that pause. And Vic mentioned that as well. But at the same time, I've been writing a play at the moment in this time, and also just writing any kind of bits because I've got the time to do it. And I think maybe what I would advise is to not write with having, I'm going to say the word of purpose. Like, when you're writing, don't think, I'm writing this because I want to get this on at the Royal Court, or I want to submit it to this prize, or whatever. I think it's writing for yourself, and with anything creative that you're doing, whether that's, I don't know, drawing or making a film, do it for yourself because you can at this time, because we're all in our homes. Yeah, do it for yourself, and I think that's when you'll discover what you really want to say and what you want to work on. And then that's when you'll start to find little gems and really authentic things. So yeah, just take the judgment away and don't do it for anyone but yourself, and just see where it takes you. Even if it is a 2-minute free write that is mostly rubbish, there might be just one line in there or one word in there that you think, ooh, there's something in that I want to explore.
Harris, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think everyone's said it, and I think I lie. I do have something to add. I think the idea of it being online work, personally, what's been so great about it is the idea of like connection. So I think like just this call, we have people in London, people in Nottingham, Singapore, you know. So what's great about this online form is that we no longer have to work just in a space, and we're able to work like cross country, cross border, which is just sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that, and I like how you've all mentioned look after yourself and do things for yourself. I think that's so important, because you are important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like yourself, and just self-care and taking time away from things can aid you so much, and can just kind of give you a bit of a restart boost, and you can then continue with productivity. And if you don't feel productive, you don't feel productive. You don't force it on yourself to create work, basically. But yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm going to come to Vic for this one. What is kind of, from everything you've done in the past, what's been your biggest challenge that you faced, kind of with creating work, and kind of anything, your biggest challenge that you've kind of faced
since the virus, or just in general?
I'm going to say in general, but if you can focus anything from the virus that has impacted anything.
Right. I'm very picky about the people I want to work with. And as a human being, as Vic, right, I love people. I love meeting people, hanging out. You know, if you want me to be in your project, I'm in. Like, when it comes to working with others, I love that. When it comes to me, if I could pick my dream team, who would it be? I'm like, oh God, it's so hard to think of someone, because you're my good friend, but I want this specific quality that this person will not have. You know, it's just so hard. So, but that's my biggest challenge, trying to find a team, let alone a tribe, to like support me in what I'm doing and grow the work I'm doing. And I've been very fortunate to be part of various tribes that other people start. But in terms of starting my own tribe, I don't know how to, like, where do I find these people? You know, and in the age of Corona, I'm starting to realize that it's so much harder to work alone. Because, you know, sometimes you get frustrated with group projects. Oh my God, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do things on my own. And you've written like your 7th monologue, and you're like, this kind of sucks. I just want to read it. I just want to be in a room and hang out with people again. And I don't mind if they make me upset, because human connection is more important than whatever stupid thing I'm writing right now. Yeah, that's my biggest challenge.
Amazing. Kai, did you find, when you were doing your MA and your creative producing, did you find any huge challenges within that you can kind of tell us about?
I actually like my course. I know not many people agree with me, but I don't know, because because I feel that it's the headspace that you go into and your expectations. You know, I didn't have a lot of expectation, because I know, like, my intention is I'm going to have a break from whatever I'm doing in Singapore, because I needed a break. And I'm going to London, to a new space, to challenge myself, to make new friends, and to not be this bossy Kai, because I think everybody think I'm very bossy back home. So I told myself that I'm going to be very open to challenges. If this is something that is basic for me, I'm still going to say, oh, I'm not sure about this, let me relearn this. So, and that's how I feel that I had a very good experience doing my master's. in London, not knowing anybody. Some of them are younger than me, some of them are just fresh graduate from their degree and goes to masters, so I have a huge lap from getting my degree and then going to masters. So then, I just thought that there isn't any big challenges that I have. Sometimes I just feel annoyed at some things, or perhaps there are some modules that I wish that it was more intense, because 1 year is very fast for my course, and I wish that at the end of the day there was more collaboration, perhaps, because everybody just think producer we're just thinking of money, we're just making sure that there's budget and grant applications. But I think that the course really taught me a lot about reflecting your practice, really taking your time, taking a pause, think about the trajectory of the piece. Why are you a producer? Do people really need a producer? So there's a lot of questions left unanswered, and I kind of like that, because I came in knowing that I'm going to relearn what I have learned previously. So I think that there wasn't any big challenges for me when I did my master's.
Amazing. Onto the kind of training kind of talk here. Harris and Grace, do you find that you're currently experiencing any challenges whilst you're training?
Yeah, I think it's been like transferring that online, and I'd be interested, sorry, like just after maybe like hearing from Kai, like her MA, like what did she kind of learn that can be brought on to whole Corona situation? Sorry, that was just a thing I had in my head. But yeah, to answer your question, training wise as well, like I think it's hard to do actor training or like theater work when you're on your own, because it like relies so much on like kind of human connection, or like feeling people's energies. So that's been a challenge on like how to work as like a team or as an ensemble, kind of like what Vic was saying.
Coming back to the project that me and Harris just did, what was really challenging about that was the sense of liveness, and again, just being in the room and trying things out, and just having that collaborative relationship and letting things organically brew. That was really difficult to achieve that over a webcam whilst trying to make a show for children. That was really difficult, but I think it's doable, and I think you've just got to make the most of your resources and what you might usually do in a process, but just making it accessible and refining it and making it clear, because a lot gets lost over webcam and trying to communicate through technology. Just refining that and being clear. So for instance, if you're maybe co-writing something with someone, maybe what you can do is you can have a video call and improvise some dialogue, rather than someone writes a bit and then emails it, and then the other person writes a bit, then emails it. Maybe just do a bit of improv together over a Zoom call, and that adds a little bit of fruitiness. That's a fun word. But still making it accessible for being over a webcam. So I think it's strained, but it is doable, and you've just got to be resourceful.
Amazing. In relation to that, I feel like this kind of new performance, like new way of performing, has really blown up, and it's probably one benefit of coronavirus that we can kind of look at, that it's created this whole new platform and whole new performance space where people can watch things at ease from their homes, and it's nice to see another form of performance. In that sense, is there anything, Kai, that you can feel you can bring from online into stage and film and a screen, a TV screen?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't have the answer for that. Yeah, I just feel that it's still a work in progress, and I'm still figuring out, because, I mean, it's not new, this digital theatre. Like, I just think that now we're putting in more importance because of the void that we're having right now. You know, there's a lot of people that I've collaborated with back in Singapore in terms of doing visual design to incorporate that in live theatre. So I don't know, we still have to negotiate the space. I don't think I have an answer for that. But I feel strongly that this is the time to experiment. And because it's okay if you fail, you know, because everyone's trying out. And I mean, if you don't have that pressure of saying, oh, I want to make a successful thing, then it allows you to play more. It allows you to explore more and get feedback, you know.
We lost Kai.
We've lost Kai.
Lost Kai.
And now because it's not here.
Back.
You're back.
I'm so sorry. What was my last?
Oh, you've got it again.
There's always a risk.
Let's wait a few more.
Chat over Zoom.
Okay, let's wait for Kai to come back.
Oh.
I love the position she's in.
Really good.
So expressive.
We've got a lovely picture of her face, so that's okay.
Me?
Vic, I'm actually going to come to you now. We'll wait until Kai's come back to us. Yeah, what's your stand on it? What's your stand in terms of what can we...
My internet is gone.
You're back.
Am I back? Oh my god, that's so long of a pause.
You're dipping in and out, Kai.
Yeah.
Whilst Kai comes back, Vic, I'll come to you. Is there anything that you feel that you can bring from theatre online into kind of live theatre?
If there is one thing I hope everyone takes from creating work online to creating live performances, is the utmost respect for the production crew and the tech team. I've been in productions where they were not regarded as important as the cast or the creative team. I think that's really unfair, and they really are the backbone of so much that we do. They make us look good, you know, they make sure we are heard, and too often they get pushed to the side. They don't get to take the curtain call with us. It's so unfair. I mean, they're probably kind of shy as well, but yeah, doing things on Zoom has taught me that technical difficulties are so fucking hard to solve, and you guys need to be so grateful that a production team exists. That's my takeaway.
Amazing. 100% agree with that. They are literally the backbone. They are the backbone, and I feel like they don't get sometimes the credit they deserve. Grayson Harris, what your stand on that? What do you feel like you can bring from well, for example, scratching, for example. I think we've lost Kai.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Okay, she'll be back. Yeah, what can you take from, because we obviously have scratching, what are your experiences with scratching? Hi, Kai.
Harris, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, I think to like what I've learned from scratching that I'd like to bring forward to theatre again is the idea of collaboration. Like, I think now that we know that Zoom works, we know that there's a way for people to work together. I'm just wondering if there's a way to bring that onto stage. So even if it's having like an actor from a completely different part of the world be part of your stage show, I think these kind of ideas are just really cool. And to hear like what everyone else has to say from all over, like everyone has different perspectives. So yeah, that's something I want to take forward.
I think, again, following on from what Vic was saying, I think because this has been such an uncertain time, and very much with me and Harris, this is very experimental, and we're kind of tiptoeing into this whole thing. Because I guess in this whole thing, we've been more of a producer / facilitator role, and I haven't done that before. And for a lot of our directors involved in this project as well, they haven't directed a piece over a Zoom call before, and our actors haven't acted with someone on the other side of the country before. So everyone is a bit uncertain in this process, but what comes with that, as Vic was saying, is this sense of support, like constant support. We're always checking in with people, we're always having calls just to see how everything's going, just really being on it and being respectful that people might not want to have another Zoom call after one rehearsal. They might need to just get away for a bit. I think in this process, me and Harris have done quite a good job at trying to create as safe a space as possible. And unfortunately, I think that gets lost. I'm loving all the emojis in Vic's box. I love it. I think that often gets lost when in the industry, when you're rehearsing in a real room. You kind of just come to the room, you do your work, and then you go home, and it's kind of not really spoken about. Whereas in this process, because we have been so unsure, we just want to make sure that everyone's okay, especially because the world is in a state at the moment. Yeah, I think that's something that we can really bring forward.
Nice. Onto that, we've only got a few minutes left, so I'm going to round this, spill the tea up fairly quickly. What I want to end with is kind of one piece of advice from each of you individually about what you can take forward at this present time, and how you can kind of, what you can do and what you can use to be productive and to keep yourself happy and just a better person. I'm going to come with you, Kai, first. What piece of advice would you give?
Okay, quickly before I went frozen earlier, I want to echo what Vic said about production, because more of the time, whether online or offline or on play, people are not respecting production people, and that's not cool. You want to be in theatre, respect your production people. They are the core, not just your skill as an actor or whatsoever. I started as a production person, so I know. And when I got bullied as a production person, I always tell myself, if I like if I am a producer or an actor or whatsoever, I'm going to respect my production people because they are the core of everything. That's one. And number two, I'd like to congratulate Harris and Grace for opening this platform for emerging artists. You guys are emerging artists and opening up a space for another emerging artist. You are not just giving a braver, safer space for people, but you see the gap and you want to bridge it. So congratulations to both of you. Now, what did you ask?
What piece of advice would you give to take forward?
The piece of advice, I would say 2 words actually: just reflect and play. I think we always put pressure on ourselves and be stressful to always be number 1. It's okay if you're number 2, number 3, you'll get there, but you just need that sense of play, because it's not wrong if you fail or didn't do well in this production. It's always a reflection. You remember what you did wrong and think to yourself, okay, I'm going to do better the next time. Okay, I need to enhance this skill a bit more, like, and communication is also so important. So that's why I say it's 2 things. I think reflect, because even though you don't have time to pause or whatsoever, if you're a workaholic like me, you find other ways to reflect. Maybe before you sleep, you just think about, oh, what did I do today that makes me maybe a better person? I don't know. But yeah, there are various ways for you to reflect. There's journal, there's you talking to yourself in the mirror, talking to someone about it, and play, because it is the time to play. This is of all time, this is the time to play.
Amazing.
And yeah, so that's it.
I love that. 100%. Yeah, amazing. Vic, what's your piece of advice?
My piece of, I'm so much like Kai. I'm type A. You know, when I was in drama school, I was like working 2 part-time jobs while being on a student union, while helping out with the youth theater program. Like I was just doing so many things in addition to like completing my studies. And since then to now, I've had a series of unfortunate events where like everything is meant to go according to plan, and you know without a doubt it should happen the way it happens, and then buff, some random thing comes in and takes it all away. And coronavirus was like the nail in the coffin. Like it's happened so many times to me. By the time the virus hit, I was like, what's new? What's fucking new? Well, I'll tell you what's not new is that everything changes. There is this myth of certainty that we want to hold on to, you know, to give us this sense of groundedness in our lives or this stability. But the world is in flux. Relationships are in flux. We are in flux. You know, we're changing so much, and as soon the quicker we embrace that certainty is a myth and anything can change, right? When we are really ready for anything that's to come, then we'll reach like this new level. But I also recognize that I'm saying this from a position of privilege. You know, there are some people who are in more dangerous societies or with more boundaries and societal expectations that I don't have, right? Given my position and where I come from, the era that I'm in, blah blah blah. So I would love to have a bigger conversation about that. But ultimately, it's about being prepared for whatever happens, and whatever you feel you're going through now is just temporary. Yeah.
Nice.
Grace and Harris, we don't have long left. Any quick pointers that you have? Any quick advice that you would give instantly to people to take forward?
I think everyone said it genuinely.
Yeah.
Just care and love. Yeah.
Fun.
Amazing.
Be patient with yourself. Have fun. Do it.
Incredible advice, and thank you so much, guys, for being with me and having this conversation, because a lot of people will relate to this, and absolutely love that you've spoken honestly and you've spoken truly about how you feel. Amazing. Thank you, guys. It's been a great spill the tea, and please remember to join us for Scratching Night next Saturday, 3 p.m. British time and 10 p.m. Singaporean time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. Some incredible directors and some incredible work from incredible artists. Be sure to join us, and thank you again, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Amazing. Bye.
Thanks, Benito.